Welcome back to Slothbox. I'm Lyndon Dixon, and as usual, this video is brought to you by the Excelsior Sporting Club. Today, I'm joined by top Welsh prospect Ben Crocker. Ben, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good myself. You?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I just want to go right back to the start, mate. Tell me how it all started.
Um, well, since how I got into boxing, is it?
Yes, mate. Yeah.
I was doing kickboxing from when I was 5 till about 12. I was better with my hands than I was with my legs. I don't know, the kickboxing tournaments, they just didn't seem like rough enough for me, do you know what I mean? And then I
Yeah.
started watching the Rocky films, and then I think from there, it just got me into boxing. I think I said to my dad, I want to start boxing. He took me down a local gym in Swansea called Premier ABC.
Mm. Well, like you said, you mentioned that local gym, but for some people, it's a lot of people can try boxing. But when did you know that boxing was the thing for you?
Um, I don't know, to be honest. I remember my first ever spar, I got beat up, but it didn't put me off. And I think that's probably what stuck at it. I think I had a fight. I think I was ready within about 3 months for a fight. So it was pretty quick. It was a pretty quick turnover
Mm.
from joining the gym to having my first amateur fight. And I remember I stopped the guy in the first or second round, my first amateur fight, and then I just had the buzz for it then.
Nice. Well, talk to me about those amateur fights. How did you find the amateurs? Because some people they can't wait to turn pro. They feel they're more suited to that style. But how did you get on in the amateurs?
Yeah, I done pretty well. I had about 75 amateur fights, I think it was. I lost 20. I had a rough couple of years because I ended up having two operations on that hand. The aim was to reach 100 amateur fights and turn pro about 22, 23.
Mm.
But well, the injury that didn't happen. I think I got to about 25 then, and I was like, oh, it's time to turn over.
Mm. Well, talk to me about turning over that pro debut at the Vale Sports Arena in Cardiff. You only get the pro debut once. Talk to me about that
Yeah.
night.
It's a night I won't forget, the pro debut. I think I sold 250 tickets. So I'm from Swansea and the show was in Cardiff. So I took about 250 Swans fans up to Cardiff.
Nice.
And I just remember everything. It's just a night you won't forget. I mean, even walking out, because it's completely different to the amateur game. Doing the ring walk. I was holding back tears doing the ring walk. I thought I was going to cry because it was overwhelming.
Mm.
But no, it's a night I won't forget.
Well, that's the thing. It's a night you won't forget, but you've had 9 since then. Talk to me
Yeah.
about that journey so far to where you are now, because I'm sure there's been ups and downs, but how would you sum it all up, that crazy journey
Been a
of boxing?
it's been a busy one. So I turned pro. I think it's coming on 2 years. I think I made my debut 2 years now in September, and I think I've had 9 fights. It's been a busy last 2 years. I remember one fight I boxed on a matchroom bill, and then I boxed a week later in Swansea. Then, but it's been good. I've been in with some decent opponents to get me ready for step up fights. But yeah, I've enjoyed every bit of it. The training is hard. The traveling up to Kai is only an hour away, but traveling up, training, traveling back,
Mm.
it does get you, but it's all worth it at the end of the night.
You mentioned that matchroom bill. It was on the Cordina one where he snatched Dagawa's world title. Talk to me about that occasion, because that it was a real breakout moment for you, being on a matchroom show on DAZN. Talk to me about
Yeah.
that night.
So that I remember having the call. So originally I was meant to box in Swansea on whatever date it was, and then I had a phone call off my coach Gary. Look, you've got an opportunity to fight on the Joe Cordina card. The only problem is it's it's like next week. It's a week before the Swansea show. I was like, fuck it, let's have it.
Mm.
I'll do it. He's like, you've got to sell so many tickets. So I think like they wanted like 100, 100 tickets minimum to sell. I just put an Instagram post up saying, look, it's a chance for me to box on a world title undercard, on a matchroom card. I need to sell 100 tickets. Can you help? And fair play, everyone just bought a ticket. If it weren't for them, I probably wouldn't have been on the card.
Mm.
So everyone bought a ticket. And then the whole experience of fighting on a matchroom card, that was what, as I say to people, that is what you see on the movies. That felt like pro boxing with the media workout, the press conference, the weigh-in, everything about it. The build up towards the fight, it was just you felt like a world champion. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
In
Yeah.
in in that situation. But yeah, that was brilliant. I loved everything about that.
Mm. Well, we mentioned Cordina's name there. I mean, that brings me on to my next point. Welsh boxing for me at the minute, I'm sure you'll be able to give me a better point of view, but I feel like Welsh boxing's really on fire and Cordina is carrying that torch. So, talk to me a little bit about the Welsh boxing scene at the minute because you're a part of it, but like I say, Cordina is leading the way.
Yeah, so I think in the last few years it's taken off a lot, Welsh boxing. I think we've always struggled, even in the amateurs, we've always struggled to have a lot of champions or to get someone's name out there. But now with Joe Cordina being world champion and signed with Matchroom, it just gets the Welsh out there a bit more. So you've also got Gavin Gwynn, who's fighting
Mm.
for a European title. You've also got Liam Williams, who's been in there with top opponents. You've got Jay Harris, who's a British champion, boxed for a world title. And you've got like the young ones then coming up, or the early pros like myself, Kieran Jones, Brandon Scott, who's just signed with Matchroom themselves. So it is thriving in Wales at the minute, and it's just trying to get on these big shows now, trying to get all of us on.
Mm. Before we talk a little bit more about yourself, just Cordina, I mean, there's been a lot of controversy around him at the minute because he wants the huge fights. Eddie's talking maybe a little bit more about getting him a domestic one, but he's calling out those big names. One of those names that I'd love to see him in the ring with, Shakur Stevenson. If that was to go down, how do you see that going down?
I know, yeah, I've seen all that on Twitter. He's calling
Mm.
out all the names, which I understand. He wants, he don't just want a big payday; he wants a legacy as well. Shakur, I've always said, is pound for pound the best. I can't see anyone beating him. And I love Joe as well. Joe is a top quality boxer, and I said to people, he's one of those boxers that only come around once in a lifetime. He's like a Mike Tyson. He's like an Ali.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? But if those two were to ever fight, it'd be a really tough fight for Joe. But who says he can't win? Do you know what I mean? He's got the skill and he does carry the power as well.
Mm. Well, back to yourself. You're out again the 22nd of July, the third time of the year. You're a busy man. Firstly, how are you feeling about that one? And how are you feeling about being so active? Because some fighters, they're lucky they fight once a year, but you, it's the middle of the year and it's going to be three times.
I know. Fair play to my coach and manager Gary Lockett. He's kept me busy. It's fight week in week out really. It does get you a bit. Like sometimes you get into the end of the camp and you're like, I can't wait for the fight to be over just to chill out. This is what it's like now because I boxed not so long ago. I boxed about 7 weeks ago, I think, in London, and now we're straight back into another camp. But I can't complain because, like you said, most people aren't that active. I'd rather be this active than not. But no, I feel good. I feel ready for it, and I can't wait to step up this fight. It's an 8-rounder,
Mm.
so I'm looking forward to progressing up the rankings.
Well, I just want to talk a little bit about bigger picture. I mean, a lot of people have their own reasons why they get into boxing, but I want to hear yours. Like, what are your aspirations? What do you want to take from boxing when all's said and done?
Everyone's aim, I've said this before, everyone's aim is to be a world champion, but you've got to be realistic as well. The aim is to get at least a British title shot, win a British title, and then from there, who knows, get a European title shot. If you win a European title, you're basically up near world level. But yeah,
Mm.
first off, get a British title within the next 3 years. That's the plan.
Yeah. What about the dream venue where for the undisputed Ben Crocker's undisputed fight? Where's the venue?
Oh, it's got to be Vegas, MGM
Mm.
Grand Las Vegas. Got to be.
But mate, last question. It's been a pleasure speaking to you so far, but we're halfway through the year. You got your third fight in a week and a bit. Where do you see yourself come the end of the year? Because you're being so active. You have been since your debut, but end of the year, where are you going to be?
End of the year, so this is going to be number 10. What are we? July. I'm hoping to be probably 12-0 by the end of the year, and either next in line for a title shot or a title under my belt, whether it's a Welsh title or something else, or even a title eliminator fight. Who knows? But that's the plan. Definitely
Well,
get a title by the end of the year.
mate, I love it. I love the plan. Anyway, it has been a pleasure speaking. I've been Lyndon Dixon. He's been Ben Crocker, and we will see you on the next one.
Thank you. Cheers.